Hello, I'm Christine Stricker, Instructional Design Specialist in the Center for Online Learning at Eastern Illinois University. Today I'm going to be talking about how to leverage mobile phone use in your face-to-face and online classes. During this video, you will learn about employing mobile technology to involve students in research and fact-checking, engaging with students via social media to encourage conversation about class, using mobile technology to record video and audio in class and using it online, using mobile phones to conduct polls in face-to-face and online courses, and using phone apps, mobile websites, and software to extend learning and communication. We have a choice. We can either fight students and their phones, or we can find a way to make them a part of the learning environment. The first thing we'll focus on, that is probably the most frustrating for instructors, is cell phone use in face-to-face classes. My suggestion is to give students a job. Students like being active, and while we don't really want them multitasking and losing focus, there are a few things that you can do to make them busy and participating in the classroom. For example, you could ask students to research something during lecture, even if you know it or could just say it yourself. For example, we're going to be talking about Beowulf today, which took place in Denmark and Gotaland. Go ahead and search that on your cell phone and raise your hand when you find out where that is today. You could also have students do fact-checking, whether you know it or don't know. For example, can someone please check on the population of New Zealand? Or maybe, how many novels has Louise Erdrich written? Yes, these are things that you can talk about. Or you could spend time on big ideas and allow them to have something active to do. Another way to think about this is crowdsourcing. Use students and their connection to the internet to help you sort through large amounts of text, documents, videos, or a website. You could even give them something like extra credit for participating. There are some great apps out there that you could encourage students to explore during the lecture, whether it's literature apps that help students understand Shakespeare, or virtual field trips that can allow students to explore a timeline of the Civil War. These can be found on the App Store or through iTunes. There are a vast array of apps available through iTunes and the Google Play Store. I really like the Constitution app and the offline topographical map app. I'd like to talk about Twitter use in your classroom. And guess what? You don't even have to have a Twitter account to make it work for your students. Instead, encourage students to tweet about the lecture to a professional in your area of study. For example, an astronomy student could tweet a question to Chris Hadfield and wait for a response that could be shared in class. This is a link that shows some of the best scientists in Twitter, and I am sure there are plenty in your field as well. Another way to use Twitter in your class is to ask students to tweet out things they are learning with a specific original hashtag, like hashtag Mrs. Stricker English EIU. Or ask them to look for things with a specific hashtag, like hashtag software development. There's a great document linked here that provides guidelines for getting started using Twitter if you decide you'd like to use it academically. Use back channels, which is a place to post questions and comments during a lecture. Students can respond by sending their message to a number via text or online. Messages show live or can be monitored by an instructor, GA, or trusted student. Results can be broadcast in a live stream on a screen in class. The great thing about a back channel is that it gives everyone the floor and lets even the quietest students express themselves. Today's Meet is one example of a back channel. If you'd like to try it, go to todaysmeet.com/leveraging mobile phones. This also works in online classes. A great way to engage students and take advantage of their phones is by conducting polls and surveys. The traditional and EIU-supported method of in-class response systems is turning point clickers. Another way you can conduct live polls and surveys is through Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere allows students to text in their response rather than use or buy a clicker, or they can respond to the poll online. Poll Everywhere is free for up to 40 participants. To host an online discussion before, during, or after your lecture, you can use D2L, a Wigio group, a Google Doc, a group text, or Google Moderator. Students can write responses to prompts or post questions they are having while you are lecturing, and you could have a trusted student, GA or TA, moderate. If you are interested in recording lectures, there are a variety of ways to include students in the process, thus giving them a job. Using an old cell phone of yours or a computer, a student could be in charge of taping the lecture. It requires them to come to class and sit up front, which are 2 bonus features. There are a variety of benefits for both the instructor and students. Video provides an element of accessibility for students with special needs, and it also allows all students the opportunity to go back and re-watch a lecture. You could limit access to the video to only certain students. You could also ask that only small segments be recorded, like working out a problem on the board. That video could easily be uploaded to YouTube, Kaltura, or elsewhere. For the instructor, it provides you material for online courses, and it's an easier way to create a collection of YouTube tutorials as instructional content and assessment. You can also encourage students to record your lectures with their mobile phones. They might not know that they can record the audio, and it could provide study support. Students can also use their mobile device to take notes in OneNote through Office 365. They can use their phones to take pictures of whiteboards. A great tool in OneNote is the ability to clip part of a web page to save for later. You can also make to-do lists with deadlines, and it's integrated with Panther Mail and accessible from anywhere you can access the internet. Let's talk a little bit about engaging students before and after class. One way is giving in and joining Twitter, if you haven't already, and posting information about your topics, areas, and the occasional funny thing too, just to keep them engaged. You could start a discussion before class. You could send a group text the morning before class to get their thoughts going. After lecture, consider encouraging students to share notes they have taken in a locker on D2L. You could also send out readings after lectures in a group message to a link. One of my favorite tools, Quizlet, is a great web and mobile app that allows anyone to create their own flashcards and study tools. The instructor could even create the terminology and post it on Quizlet, encouraging students to search for their quiz to study for. If you love video games or phone games, consider adding elements of those games into your classes. Change the context is an easy way to start. Instead of assignments, call them challenges. Instead of tests, call them quests. Pick badges to reward and levels to achieve. Sound complicated? An easier way might be to include quest questions or fun questions within lectures. Students have to submit answers via text, back channels, or other polling device. You could add competition to classes, make zombies chase them, hand out badges for sending in an answer via text or some other method. If you want to learn more about gamification, you can head over to Simbound or lynda.com to learn more about it. Simulations are always interesting to students. Students could create a constructed Twitter or Facebook account for a historical figure, and then the figures could message each other about significant events. You could use Wigio as a social network for the course of the group. Students can change their screen name in Wigio to something else for simulations and then back when they're finished. Bring mobile culture into your online course. For example, you could require that a discussion post be written in 140 characters, aka Twitterese. Students could use their video camera to create any variety of presentations easily done on a phone camera, but the 6-second restriction of Vine would make for brief and interesting mediums. Also, augmented reality apps could have some interesting implications in your class, just as they have been used in psychology courses. Curation tools encourage students to search for web items for a project and pin to their page. This gathering of information on the web from a variety of sources makes sourcing and copyright issues easy to deal with. Sharing these boards on Pinterest or Storyfy with their classmates and instructor create community and context for learning. Thank you for watching this online design video presented by the Center for Online Learning.